Well, I originate from the Netherlands and from a very small town which they call Zevenhuizen, like 7 houses. And it's a countryside, and eventually I moved forward to Rotterdam and The Hague. Who I am, I'm actually, I think, a character who is enjoying life and seeing that throughout music, and started to be blessed to share his music and his skills to improve the quality of life. In the early days, I was like a long-haired rock and roll guy trying to play fast guitar in the realms of Steve Vai and important jazz. And playing didgeridoo in that time was just an interesting thing, but it didn't caught my eye at that time. I think I was 16. But at that time I faced asthma and sleep apnea, and because of my expressive behavior in using music, I could always hide the problem I had, and that was my breath. Playing didgeridoo eventually let me understand that it solved my problem. Playing more didgeridoo let me get less asthma, less sleep apnea. And by playing more and more didgeridoo, step by step, it became a walkabout to see what those secrets were. At first, it's one of the most creative pieces I've ever been proposed to be part of. It is a Baroque piece, and it's actually the first real piece that also inspires me as a musician to dive in either the feeling, but also the technical part of it. It really inspires me to move beyond my own technical skills in that time. I cannot be lazy in that piece at any way. And well, to be asked to do didgeridoo in an orchestra and then say, well, you know, I've also written the notes, I've written the score for you as well. Like, yeah, that's a challenge, and I like challenges. And for me, it has become more than just a play. It really has become an extension of my walkabout and my instrument. And I also think, perhaps also part of my professional view on music. The reason why it actually moves me towards a different level of using my instrument is that I'm not using a typical original instrument, which is normally made by wood and eucalyptus. It's an instrument made of carbon, and you can slide with it. And I got the example here. So in its basic form, it's like this, but it has 2 sections, which I can slide towards an extent which the longer it is, the lower the frequency and the less air pressure it provides, while the higher, the shorter it is, the higher the pitch, but also the more power it provides, the more air pressure it contains. And normally nobody plays this instrument as you would do like a violin. It's a steady instrument where you can provide a pitch, but not making true melodies, and not even in a Baroque way, because it really exceeds the value. So it's in this way it really makes me sharp to play the right notes on the right time, otherwise it interferes with the whole orchestra. Yes, it is my first time, and I have no clue that it existed. It's that I learned to know the composer, Eero, and that he lived in Oulu. and even Oulu, I had no clue what it was about. And then I arrived here, and I can only say it's a place on its own. It's really like, I cannot really describe it with words, but it really has its own atmosphere. And although it's an island, it doesn't feel like an island, because you cannot see the borders in that way. You really feel that you're on land. It's a special community in that way. So it's pleased to be here in that way. APM system stands for air pressure movement. And throughout my years of practice, which has now been, I think, over 25 years, I saw that many people who are interested in learning to play didgeridoo and Googled what they then needed to do, like do circular breathing, and you come to the conclusion that that's not possible. No mammal can circular breathe. The only way, in my view, of being an educator is that you have to provide something which makes sense. Playing didgeridoo has nothing to do with breathing, it has to do with air pressure and how to maintain that air pressure by understanding your muscles, creating muscle memory. So in 7 steps, I designed a way to make people understand what they need to become aware of, what they need to feel, and how they can move forward in a way that makes sense. And it also is able to help them implement new breathing patterns in daily life. So air pressure movement actually gives room to understand that long continuous tone where the didgeridoo is so famous about, that it has nothing to do with breathing long, it has to create by air pressure and maintaining that air pressure and keep that in a flow. Hoi, mijn naam is Bastiaan Anthonie Baaij, oftewel Mano Peo.